Welcome to Fireside Chats with Mats. Hold on. So, to expand or to go on a little further about what I was talking about in the previous video or audio, video and audio, the guy who calls over saying you slammed my head against the ground to this police officer who it didn't appear that he did slam this guy's head against the ground at all. It seemed like he used his foot to push this guy down by the small of his back from being just about on the ground to being fully on the ground. And it seemed like it happened like in like the span of a second while the guy was like moving past him essentially. The fact that he would call over and say, you slammed my head against the ground, it's so transparent. And like the guys, maybe if I go back and look closely at the footage, I'll be able to see some kind of mark on the guy's head at all. But it seems like he's just hanging out, and it doesn't seem like there's a mark on his head. And then, of course, he shows up in a later video with the fucking huge Houdini band-aid on his head. And it's like, I don't say that. I say that more descriptively than to poison the well, although, of course, there is a sense of like mockery in that. But it is like, it's sort of a mocking thing to do, like putting on this humorously oversized bandage all around your head when it didn't seem like you had any cut at all in the footage right after the thing supposedly happened to you. It's like, and then the fact that the court system would like have this guy be sentenced for up to 10 years in prison, and if it was like a federal thing, then that would probably turn into like 2 years or something if he took some kind of plea. But unfortunately, it seems like if they did go that far, then it seems like this guy would have essentially been lying to take the plea, because it didn't seem like he slammed this guy's head against the floor. Did I say the wall at any point? It didn't seem like he slammed this guy's head against the ground at all. And it's like, isn't there any kind of reasonable doubt anymore, or is it just the circus mob of any given person, even just some random guy, sort of not buying into, but sort of playing into these stereotypical cultural assumptions that we have about like what happens to black people when white people are around and stuff. And it's like, well, if this guy didn't slam your head against the ground and you're saying that he did, then that's unjust. And if they're believing you because he's white and you're black and his name is David Dukes, that seems to me to be potentially some kind of tip off of something else going on, but because that's just hilariously on the nose. But, if David Dukes didn't, like literally, if he didn't actually slam your head against the ground and you're saying that he did, and it's somehow being like push through the court system or something, and like the court of public opinion certainly, but push through even the court system because he's white and you're black, and like yet there seems to be no actual footage of it. And I apologize if there is. Like, I still think it's insane for somebody to go to jail for years for, even if he did actually slam this guy's head against the ground, didn't seem like he made any contact other than the bottom of his foot gently and firmly against this guy's back. And again, as I said in the other episode, that seemed to be a dominance move. Like, it seemed to be this police officer being like, yeah, I'm the master of this situation, I'm gonna push you down. It's like, yeah, that's a shitty thing to do, and a very egoic and like an ugly thing to do. But at the same time, and again, as I said in the other one, it seemed like he was trying to play up the situation as much as the other guy was, except they were each trying to play up the situation to hurt the other guy at the hands of the government. And it's like, what a horrific fucking world we live in. And it's horrific that this guy would have his life like essentially derailed for lightly pushing with his foot on the small of some guy's back who had been slow enough to respond to him, who he literally had his gun drawn, and this guy was slow enough to respond to him that it seemed like that slowness in itself might have been some kind of like fuck you from this guy towards the police officer. And it's like, okay, well, this cop is acting like he has the actual authority to use force on people where other people don't. It's like, okay, well, And by the way, I say that in the sense that I don't think anyone should be using force on other people. It generally, but like this, some people think they have the right to use force because they have a badge, and a group of corrupt monsters told them that they're a police officer now. It's like, no, an FU attitude towards the cop, I would say, is potentially warranted just by this guy bossing him around, fucking sticking a gun in his face, like Pulp Fiction style, you know. You, you turn your back, he sticks a gun in your face, you know, like, but like seriously, he's aiming a gun at this guy, and this guy's like like arguing with him, or it seemed like this guy's basically like not listening to him. And then finally, this guy is getting down on the ground, and the other guy pushes his back with the bottom of his foot. He sort of like pushes his back down. It seemed to me anyway. Again, show me the footage that shows him like kicking his head or anything like that, but or stomping on it, much less. These fucking news headlines literally use the word stomping. It's like, really, stomping? And you don't seem to be showing any footage of that, or like they had some like screenshots or images of like footage or something, and none of them showed anything at all clear in terms of him like stomping on this guy's head. And so it's like, wow, this is really like a runaway story that you guys seem to be going along with here that doesn't seem to be true.